Social with us.
I do like you very much.
Just click on the link at KPEL965.com.
Your credit card companies love you. They love it when your cards stay maxed out. They love it when you only make minimum payments. They love it when you struggle. Why? Because they own you. And minimum payments mean maximum profits. Here's great news. National Debt Relief is now offering you free information on how to escape your credit card debt nightmare. If you owe more than $10,000 in credit card debt and only barely making minimum payments, know this. You may not have to pay it all back. In fact, you may have the right to settle that debt for only a fraction of what you owe. National Debt Relief has helped thousands of people get rid of over $500 million of debt, and they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Get the information you need for free right now before this offer goes away. Call National Debt Relief now and escape your credit card debt troubles. 800-910-4005. 800-910-4005. 800-910-4005.
The Rush Morning Update. Weekday mornings with Rob and Bernie. Proudly brought to you by the dental offices of Samuel R. Moss and Danielle Descoumuse. Schedule your appointment at thelafayette-dentist.com.
For the last 20 years, the whole world has been able to witness the destruction of Venezuela, and they did it to themselves. It used to be a stable, economically healthy democracy with oil behind the economy, and then Hugo Chavez came in and socialism, and in 20 years, the country is literally starving. Maduro is blaming Trump for this, not Hugo Chavez. You know why? Well, Trump put sanctions on him a month ago. That supposedly is an economic war. That doesn't explain 20 years of decline. Blaming Trump didn't solve the starvation problem either. So Maduro just announced a plan. In addition to telling his people to start growing food on their rooftops and their balconies, the government demands that citizens breed rabbits. That's right, rabbits. Venezuela's urban agriculture minister helped Maduro announce the rabbit plan. He said the country has a cultural problem because we've been taught that rabbits are cute pets. He said a rabbit is not a pet. It's a 5-pound piece of meat that's very high in protein with no cholesterol. So there you have it. The socialist Venezuelan government, self-destruction on parade, is now going to cure mass starvation caused by socialism by demanding their starving people breed and eat rabbits. Hey, Bugs. What's up, Doc?
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Rush is coming up at 11 after the Moon Griffon Show, only on NewsTalk 96.5 KPEL.
Hi, Bill O'Reilly here. We Americans enjoy unprecedented freedom, but do you know how brutal the struggle was to achieve that freedom? Bet you don't. My new book, Killing England, describes in vivid detail the Revolutionary War against Great Britain, and what we put forth in the book might horrify you. George Washington, Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson are all portrayed as real men, not myths. Killing England is a read you'll never forget.
Killing England, on sale now.
I'm Dana Lash with NRA Carry Guard. I carry my firearm every day. I pray I'll never be forced to use it. But if I do, I know NRA Carry Guard will have my back. I can choose up to $1 million in insurance-backed protection, plus a special attorney referral network to give me the representation I need. Learn more and sign up today at nracarry.com or call 1-866-NRA-1234 to become an NRA Carry Guard member today.
Puerto Rico is getting pummeled. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. Hurricane Maria hitting the island with Category 4 force.
We are seeing large concrete hotels in the capital simply being torn apart minute by minute. We've seen large pieces of the sidewalls come out. We've seen balconies go flying, trees snapped in half. They warned the winds here could be 120 to 160 miles per hour over the next couple of hours, and their worst fear is really coming true so far.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in San Juan getting a direct hit now. People in low-lying areas were told to evacuate or risk death. The already Irma-damaged Virgin Islands also got hit overnight when Maria was a Category 5. They're listening to sounds of survivors and hoping the earthquake rubble in and around Mexico City.
Horrible. Frighteningly horrible.
Homes and buildings collapsed. So did schools. The bodies of 21 kids were pulled out of one among the at least 217 people killed in the quake. It's like last September. President Trump tweets a shot at Hillary Clinton after she was critical of him and his UN speech that included the threat to destroy North Korea. Fox's Tanya J. Powers, live in New York.
His second tweet of the morning was aimed at the former Secretary of State, saying when she had that job, Clinton, quote, allowed North Korea to research and build nukes. She was on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night on CBS and said instead of calling Kim Jong-un Rocket Man, the president should have taken a different tone.
But you should lead with diplomacy. You should lead with the commitment to trying to avoid conflict however you can.
She also called his speech dark and dangerous, Dave.
Now, Tanya, the president also tweeted big day of meetings at the UN. America first. He'll sit down with Jordan's king, the Palestinian leader, and the Egyptian president and Britain's prime minister. There were 30 more home runs hit in baseball last night, setting a new record. The 5,707 this season breaks the mark back in 2000. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. If you're in the market to buy a home right now, you know how challenging it is out there. You're competing against cash buyers, so it's critical that you work with a reputable, established mortgage company like Quicken Loans. By getting pre-approved with us, sellers will know that you're serious and ready to close when you make that offer. Here's one more way to get the home you want. You could buy a $150,000 home with as little as $1,500 down with our 1% down payment option. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.125%, APR 4.52%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Jimmy Kimmel wasn't joking last night when he took a swipe at Republican Senator Bill Cassidy on his late-night ABC show, saying Cassidy lied to him about his health care plan in the Senate.
He said he wants coverage for all, no discrimination based on pre-existing conditions, lower premiums for middle-class families, and no lifetime caps. And guess what? The new bill does none of those things.
Kimmel got involved in the healthcare debate, criticizing Republicans with an emotional reaction after his son was born and needed open-heart surgery right away. That bill Kimmel doesn't like may be gaining momentum among Republicans who were unable to unite on a plan to replace Obamacare over the summer.
Senate Republicans could force one more vote on a healthcare overhaul bill next week.
Listen, guys, I tell you, this idea is catching on our side, big time.
Republican Lindsey Graham's Graham-Cassidy bill is designed to shift healthcare law subsidies to block grants for each state. But one Republican, Rand Paul, is already voicing opposition. Others are undecided, including Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and John McCain. No votes that helped defeat a repeal effort in July. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
2 more arrests today in last week's London subway bombing. Now 5 people in custody. A bomb in a bucket partially detonated on the train, injuring 30 people. A murder suspect behind bars in Louisiana in what may be a racially motivated crime.
Police say DNA evidence and security camera footage link 23-year-old Kenneth Gleason to the murders of 2 black men and shots fired at a black family's home in Baton Rouge last week. Gleason is white. Police say they found a handwritten copy of an Adolf Hitler speech at his home, but Baton Rouge Police Sergeant LeJean McNeely says they're not ready yet to call it a hate crime.
We're going to continue to talk to Mr. Gleason to see if we can get some additional information as to the reason why So we're not going to speculate that at this particular time.
Gleason's lawyer says he vehemently denies committing the crimes. He could face the death penalty.
That's Jack Callahan. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Holding the powerful accountable and asking the tough questions. Awarded Best Election Coverage by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters, KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette. Covering Acadiana, live and local, this is KPEL News at 7.
Right now, 76 degrees here at the KPEL studios. Another arrest has been made in the case of a gun that was discovered on the campus of Morgan City High School. Police arresting 35-year-old Leroy Byers on several charges for supplying a 15-year-old family member with a handgun. Now, Monday, that teen retrieved the handgun and brought it to school, but was soon arrested. No students or staff were harmed or threatened. The man found dead at Brown Park Monday has been identified. His death is being ruled a homicide. Lafayette police saying 22-year-old Jaleel Bontham suffered a gunshot wound. Lafayette police say they don't believe that his death is connected to any other incidents or shootings. If you have information, though, please call the Lafayette Police Department or Lafayette Crime Stoppers at 232-TIPS. Acadia Parish Crime Stoppers, they're asking for your help.
Crowley police said 44-year-old Johnny Reams Jr. has an extensive criminal history and may be in the Lafayette area. Reams is wanted for his most recent charge of felony theft. He's described as a black male standing 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing 140 pounds. To see a photo of Reams and some more information, you can visit the KPEL Facebook page. If you have any information on this fugitive's whereabouts, you're asked to contact Crime Stoppers of Acadia Parish at 789-TIPS. For KPEL News, I'm Derek Albert.
Well, there could be a number of legal issues if any type of hazing-related charges are pressed against fraternity members at LSU, where an 18-year-old pledge died last week. Loyola law professor Dane Cialino says a major gray area in a case like that of Max Groover is whether or not the hazing victim consented to some degree.
Just like in a boxing match, you get in the ring and you consent to getting punched in the face, and you can't really criminally prosecute the other boxer for doing what would otherwise be a battery.
U.S. Senator John Kennedy plans to vote for Senator Cassidy's bill to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, but he says it needs improvement. Emily Gunn has more on our story.
Kennedy says Cassidy's measure gives states the choice to impose a work requirement. But he says if you're an able-bodied adult without children, you need to work in order to get free health care.
I don't believe it should be optional.
He says his biggest concern is that the block grant funding will establish a system where states regulate doctors and hospitals.
Put in some guardrails that say you can't use the money to set up a single-payer system.
He says he'd rather have private health insurance companies provide coverages that could help lower health care costs. I'm Emily Gunn.
Coming up now on 708, ZipRecruiter. You know, if you're looking to hire somebody, you don't want to have to waste a bunch of time with unqualified candidates that don't really match what you're looking for. With ZipRecruiter, that's not going to happen to you. I know that things can be so expensive nowadays, and you want to get the best candidate. So if you try ZipRecruiter, which you can do for free right now, ZipRecruiter.com/Bernie, you'll find that basically you can post your job to 100 plus job sites just by one little click. And by the end of the day, guess what? 80% of employers who post their job on ZipRecruiter, they're already going to have one good quality candidate waiting in their email box. So cut out, all that trouble out there. Find the best candidates for the job opening that you have. I know there are some hirings going on right now, and people are looking for the best candidates that we've got in Acadiana. Well, with ZipRecruiter, you're going to find them. It cuts out a bunch of work for you. And with it being free, you might as well give it a try this morning. Go and do it right now. ZipRecruiter.com/Bernie. It's ZipRecruiter.com/Bernie. So post your jobs right there for free. Try it out for yourself and get the quality folks that you want working in your business.
Here's a mortgage tip from GMFS. When you apply for a mortgage, you will need to provide your lender with a number of documents in order for them to process your application. If you have a cosigner, he or she needs to be prepared to provide some of the same financial documents. Having these documents ready to go will help accelerate the processing of your loan application and get you approved.
Visit this Town Square Media radio station's website for more tips and advice from GMFS.
Hurricane season is in full effect. Everyone needs to be prepared. Your friends and family may not be together when disaster strikes. Will you know if your children or parents are safe? Have a plan. Make sure everyone in your family knows the game plan. Prepare and protect your home and family. GMFS Mortgage cares. Visit our website at gmfsmortgage.com/Acadiana.
GMFS, changing lives.
GMFS LLC is an equal housing lender. All mortgages are originated by GMFS LLC in MLS number 64997.
Why drive a car that's like every other when there's only one you? That's the kind of thinking that drives the Cadillac XT5. A crossover with innovative features like side blind zone alert to keep you and yours safe. The comfort of handcrafted cut and sewn interior and OnStar 4G LTE with built-in Wi-Fi hotspot to keep you connected from point A to point B and everywhere in between. Perhaps the better question is, what are you waiting for? Experience the difference and incredible offers on the Cadillac XT5 at Service Cadillac, your Acadiana Cadillac dealer, 1214 Ambassador Caffrey Parkway, and online at CadillacAtService.com. That's CadillacAtService.com. Wi-Fi requires compatible mobile device, active OnStar service, and data plan.
And now, your forecast from the KATC TV3 Weather Lab.
It seems like so long ago that Acadiana got a little taste of fall and then quickly went back into a summer-like pattern, and that pattern continues through the rest of the work week. Certainly going to be seeing it today. High up to around 92 later on this afternoon, and winds from the south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour going to continue to bring more moisture into the atmosphere, so expect it to be very muggy once again today, and a few isolated and scattered showers could result from some of that moisture, so a 30% chance for a brief shower or thunderstorm. Your low tonight going to be getting down into the low to mid-70s with the capability of some patchy fog through early morning. As for the rest of the work week, does look like we are going to be dealing with this type pattern. Summer's going to continue through the weekend and the majority of next week as well. Maybe seeing the indications that late next week we could get a slight cool front. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on NewsTalk 96.5 KPEL.
Right now, 76 degrees. Weather brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life. Winston Churchill's words stirred his country in the face of defeat. Today, they inspire us to reach for our own victories. Commitment, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
It's Wingin' It Wednesday, driven by Service Chevrolet Cadillac.
Welcome into Wingin' It Wednesday. Gosh, I love it. A whole nother topic we were debating that isn't even on the list. We can do that next week for sure. It's 7:13, and Wingin' It Wednesday is brought to you by our friends
but then you
over
have
at
the
Service
problem
Cadillac
of drinking and driving, right? If you're driving and you're impaired by a bunch of pot, how is that different from what we have now with the problem with drinking and driving? For medicinally, so we're talking about pot. It grew.
Not to be a prude, but I do think there's a fundamental problem with government encouraging bad behavior. Because I think it is bad behavior long term.
Well, there's some bad behavior getting ready to start because I have a 2-gallon bottle of early times in my hand, courtesy of our good friends Justin and Maurice and Tanny.
Substances.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was actually given to me as a gift when I started the morning show because someone said you'll need all of this just to get up and just to make your day happen. So we want to welcome in our panelists, Carol Ross, Stafford Barnett, and Warren Cottle. Hey, we're streaming live across the universe, by the way, right now, so you can wave up to our camera.
Oh, wait.
Hi, camera.
Watch me committing a crime. Mine.
Oh, yeah. Stafford brought
breakfast,
some jerky in.
And it's Hillary approved, so it's okay. And not Clinton.
It is.
She's
it is
my trainer.
Center of the aisle jerky.
Center of the aisle.
It's neither left nor right. It's just really,
It's
really
center
good.
of the aisle beef jerky. I love it.
I like
There
it.
you go.
All right, so let's start with this last-ditch effort. It seems the Graham-Cassidy bill to repeal Obamacare. It's something that was out there when we had the last big debate. Didn't get too much interest, I guess, maybe from those who needed to vote on it. Warren, you know what? It's a special week, and I have 2 gallons of early time sitting in front of me. Let's go ahead and let you start on this one. Well, it's been I've had it for a while. It's aging in this plastic bottle.
So my point is, why
see.
did you bring it out here?
Needed it today with you guys.
Pop the top on that bottle and throw the cap away.
It's Kentucky. It's Kentucky whiskey. I know that's
It is
one of your
it is indeed Kentucky whiskey.
specialties.
And if my facts are correct, I do believe that name bourbon came from the person who originally started distilling whiskey up in Kentucky, and he was a Baptist preacher.
Okay, well.
All right.
Let's talk about Graham.
Let's talk about Graham Rudman. Graham, what's his name? Cassidy. Graham Cassidy. Graham crackers, whatever it is. We're down to this thing now to where, is this bill going to go through? Do we have enough bipartisan support, or people coming together? Are the Democrats trying to figure out how they can go about to stop this bill or any other bill? And my point is, let's get something done. We have said all the way along, if you can't reform or modify or change the Affordable Care Act to come up with something that's sensible, because I think everybody agrees that the Affordable Care Act is nonsensible. I mean, and it's basically it's horrible. So let's craft it in a different way. Come up with whatever is going to work. Well, let's start working on it. You've got this group up there in Congress who for 8 years or more has run around saying that we're going to get rid of it. We're going to appeal. We're going to do this, do that. And then when it comes down to, well, I can't, kind of like Buddy Romer. Well, I wanted an anti-abortion bill, but I didn't want this bill. And, that it's the same old thing. Well, I want to repeal it, but I don't want to repeal it today. So, is it going to go anywhere? I think it's a start, and it deserves to be taken really, really serious, and it probably needs to be passed with some degree of modification.
Carol, do the Graham Cassidy folks have enough momentum to make this happen this time?
Well, it's interesting
Third time's
because
the charm.
They call it the Graham Cassidy bill. The governors who came out against it called it an amendment, implying that it's just amending Obamacare, which to a degree it is. It is, because it doesn't do away with all of the taxes in Obamacare. However, it does make some significant reforms, and I would say number one would be removing the employer and individual mandates. That's number one. At least introducing a modicum of freedom into the whole health care debate. Number two, block granting Medicaid. This is really, really important. And those weaselly governors, the Republicrats and the Democrats who came out against it, are doing so only because they know they can't print money the way the feds can. So if they run out of money because of their profligate spending, they're going to have to make the adjustment in their budget for it. So they don't want the responsibility. They're always griping about the mandates, but they don't want the responsibility of having to manage Medicaid at the state level, which is where it belongs. Every state is different. Number three, it takes away the medical device tax, which has been onerous, a bipartisan onerous, right across the board, because there are lots of Democrats who have these medical device manufacturers in their districts, and so that's what they look at. And the other thing is, it evens out the playing field, because right now, 37% of all the funding through the Medicaid and all this other stuff goes to exactly 3 or 4 states. So they're benefiting handsomely, and the rest of us are paying the freight. So there are a number of good this is a start, as Warren said. This is not the be-all and end-all, but you have got to peel back that terrible, smelly onion called Obamacare, and it's going to take a long time because it's been embedded in the economy now and for 7 years. And so it's really going to be tough to decompress it, to deconstruct it. But I think they can do it, and this would be a start.
Stafford, are Republicans unified to pass this and Democrats unified enough to stop it?
No. So we've changed the Senate rules to try to pass this with 51 votes and that's why they had to bring in Mike Pence in the past, right? And the last time this bill failed, a lot of people on both sides of the aisle came out and said, hey, let's get back to good governance. Let's get the rules back to 60-40, and let's start doing things together. And as a citizen and a voter, my perspective is we've got extremists on both sides. We've got the Tea Party extremists on the Republican side, and we've got the extremists on the Democrat side. I don't know if they've unified well enough to call each other by a name, but instead of this being 51-49 or, let's find these people in the middle who can work together and actually accomplish things and stop rewarding the extremists of the Republican and the Democrat Party. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, hey, instead of letting the feds manage health care, send the money to the states. Okay. So what they're saying is, let's give money to the state of Louisiana to manage its health care. All right. So I want to say we've had 200 amendments, if not more, to our Constitution, with the majority of those being to protect tax money that comes in because we are so bad at raiding our own funds. Okay. We actually have an amendment right now to try to limit our ability to revalue property that's in the process of construction to increase taxes on that property, right? So we constantly have to find ways to protect the money that's coming in to keep it from getting spent. And that's one of our problems. That's why higher ed always gets hit, because it's not constitutionally protected. Before Obamacare, it was the state's responsibility. States were managing Medicare, right? We are the second least healthiest state in the United States, right? So you want to say, hey, let's pull the money from our own state and give it back to us in the form of a block grant. We are in terrible shape. We have terrible health. So I think that that's a bad idea. Louisiana can't manage roads properly. We can barely manage education. So I think that this is a bad idea. I think that
that's not the fault of the federal government. It's not the fault of everybody. That is the fault of us here in Louisiana. And besides that, how many times did the feds come back to us in the old system and tell us that we were reimbursed too much and we had to pay it back? Now, thankfully, we never had to pay back the full amount. But we've been mismanaging Medicaid and Medicare funds for decades.
Right. So why give the power back to the state?
Because that's where it belongs. And by the way, those Tea Party extremists you talk about simply wanted to follow the Constitution.
Yeah, that's the biggest joke of it all, right?
Terrible, huh? Follow the Constitution.
Hijacking the Constitution. So let's talk about what Cassidy said, right? Cassidy spent all his time going around saying that he was going to hold Trump's feet to the fire. And if you were dumb enough to believe that Trump was going to get more people insured for less money...
I guess you haven't heard my little song, Burning His Butt, for what he did when he went out there.
More people on insurance for less money for better services, which is what he spent his whole time campaigning on. Cassidy gave up on that. And this is him giving up and changing his back on what he said he was going to do. And this is Trump basically coming out and saying we can't get what I said was going to get done.
We should stick with a program that was a total lie from day one.
No,
this is the beginning of a peel back, and we need to start now. We need to start somewhere, and it should be now.
Single payer.
Oh God, yeah. That you like government health care now? You're going to love it when it's single payer. It's going to be ration care. Did you hear the woman who called Moon from Canada? Oh, if you want just a regular procedure, yeah. But if you have anything serious that you need done, you're waiting 3, 5, 6, maybe 5 years.
I don't get my information from callers on radio shows. Okay, I get my information from data that's available to everybody, to you, to me, to everybody in this room. Okay, we're the last industrialized nation not to do this. Okay. All this law is going to do...
Which is why we have the best economy in the world still.
All this law is going to do is kick people off insurance. Point blank. Okay, that's all it's going to do.
Yeah, all it's going to do is give them a shot to get back to private insurance. Right now you have Medicaid expansion that ranks people who make 138% over the poverty line eligible for Medicaid. You don't think they could pay for a little bit of their own insurance?
What about the topic of pre-existing conditions, Warren? And I want to start with you on this one, because there's been a lot written and a lot of people posting screenshots of this Graham Cassidy bill that seem to kind of go back on maybe what is one good thing that happened under the Affordable Care Act. Go ahead, Warren.
I want to go back and question or point out what the gentleman has said about the health care of people in Louisiana, or the overall health of Louisiana citizens. And somehow or another, it is the fault of the way we have spent money on Medicare or whatever. Have we not taken care of our citizens? I say that our health in this state has much more to do with the culture and the lifestyles of the people here than it does from any money that comes in from the federal government. I know a few years ago they were talking about, they call it Cancer Alley down between Baton Rouge and New Orleans with all the refineries and all that and how the incidence of cancer is way up. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Why don't you go over and just take a look sometime and do a survey of the people you got over there and find out how many of them smoke and how many of them started smoking when they were 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. Look at the education level of so many of them over there. Find out about the alcoholism rate of so many of them over there. That when mechanized farming came in, you literally put thousands of people out of work. And what took the place? What took the place was government dole, government handouts, and all this kind of such stuff. But also it enslaved them, which said, we're going to give you this amount of money. So the only thing you can afford to do with it is to buy drugs and buy beer, booze, whatever, cigarettes. But you can't work, because blah, blah, blah. And so anyway, they created that system. I don't think it's because we're not trying to look after our people. We don't have enough health care for them. I think what we do is that we spend too much money where it doesn't need to be spent. I'm going to go back to what Phil Graham said one time. America is the only nation on earth where the poor people are fat. And, and that has more to do with our health care and the expenditures. And most of the expenditures in medicine, I understand, come from about the last three months of life.
Correct.
Yeah. And so that it is where we allocate the money. It goes back to what Carol always says. It's not a taxing problem. It's a spending problem.
We're going to move on to the topic of Greek life, essentially shut down on the campus of LSU because of the death of a fraternity pledge. We'll talk about that with our panelists next when we continue on Wingin' It Wednesday.
All right, coming up now on 726.
NewsTalk 96.5, KPEL Traffic Check.
East Pinhook at Shag Street. We have a traffic crash. That's East Pinhook at Shag. Ambassador Caffrey at La Nouvelle. That's Ambassador Caffrey at La Nouvelle. We have a traffic crash in that area this morning. And West Congress Street. That's West Congress Street, close to North Domain, right before you're getting in that area. Congress near North Domain, we have a traffic crash. Make sure that you're buckling up and keeping it safe. Accessibility by Design is where you can get help for an ever-changing life, right? I mean, we're all getting a little bit older by the grace of God, but, things might be changing. Some of us, as you're heading into your 40s, 50s, and 60s, might see your body changing in a way that doesn't kind of really fit your surroundings anymore. And what does that mean? Well, it means arthritis, other diseases that may be chronic or otherwise, may be changing the way that you need to make your home feel better and work more for you. Remodeling experts can help. Accessibility by Design. Steve and Rachel Corville are two great people. It's really, really dynamic. Why is it so dynamic? Well, because Rachel can pinch a penny like nobody's business, and Steve has got a great imagination. He can help out and figure out exactly how you can move things around, whether it's your bathroom, the kitchen, maybe even your den, to make life more comfortable again. There are grants that are available in our Acadiana community, and a lot of grants available to those who are veterans or if you are elderly. So if you want to make your home comfortable again, make your home feel good again, call Accessibility by Design today, 984-0123, 984-0123. They can work up a plan for you like they worked up one for me to get the kind of shower and the kind of bathroom and the kind of kitchen that's going to make home feel like home again. Accessibility by Design. Call them today at 984-0123.
Hey, this is Bernadette Lee. Look, if you're hiring right now and you got this great job, you want the best candidates. Do you know where to post your job to get those best candidates? Well, with ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to 100-plus sites with just one click. Their powerful technology efficiently matches the right people to your job better than anyone else. And that is why ZipRecruiter is different. Right now, my listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, for free with Bernadette Lee. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/Bernie. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Bernie. It makes your life easy so you can find the best candidate for the job or jobs that you're offering. You want qualified candidates, so get them today and get it for free. ZipRecruiter.com/Bernie. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Bernie.
Put fitness back on your to-do list. Improve your health, relax, find balance, and connect with other members with similar interests at City Club. At City Club, they want to bring out the best in you. City Club is a platinum club of America with state-of-the-art offerings including cardio and weight equipment, a group exercise, resort pool, tennis courts, a luxurious spa, and a casual grill and bar. City Club, more than a place, it's a lifestyle. A place where you can believe, become, and belong. For more information and to join, visit them online at cityclubatriverranch.com.
This is Jim Henderson. There are at least 25 things that I find so reprehensible that I refuse to do them, unless they can get me out of painting the house.
Oh, like getting a root canal with a jackhammer?
A root canal? Or paint the house?
Oh, root canal it is.
With a jackhammer? Nah, I'll just call Rhino Shield. They do it all, from prep to cleanup. There's no chipping, peeling, or cracking, and it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty. Call 844-GO-RHINO or online at justcallrhinoshield.com.
It's Wingin' It Wednesday, driven by Service Chevrolet Cadillac.
It's 7:30 now on Acadiana's Morning News and Wingin' It
What
Wednesday.
if I told you? I told you $1.99 a month. Okay, we need to get this working. I want a subscription-based KPEL service.
Yeah.
$1.99 an hour. Rob and I do interviews with people. We talk about crazy
The
stuff.
problem is
You don't want to be a part of it?
Well, the problem is
I'll take the whole $1.99 for myself.
The $1.99 is not enough to sustain my lifestyle because I'm sure I'll be fired from this job.
Well,
but
you don't have to say anything. You just have to talk to the people.
It's got to get more
guilt
than
by
one
association.
person. Got to get more than one, right?
Yeah.
It takes 10,000 people, $1.99 a month, and you can pay the
It'd be
utilities.
all right. That's what I'm saying.
Look,
Get
couple
it started.
comebacks.
Shoot for 1 million subscribers.
I could get a tiny house out on 3 Mile Lake.
8% of Lafayette's population, and you're covered, man.
See, I like it.
Let's talk about the goings on over to our east at LSU, where Greek life, with the exception from what I read in the long kind of scathing letter that was sent out, the only thing you could do if you're a Greek is eat at the fraternity or sorority house. That's the extent of what it is, and it's all because of another incident of hazing. Fortunately, this pledge lost his life, and they are investigating now. Carol, is this a new phenomenon, or is it really just there's a microscope on it at this point?
Well, no, it's not new, and it happens over and over again. And why people haven't learned, I don't know. Why haven't the fraternities learned that these kinds of things are not acceptable for hazing? This is dangerous stuff, especially for young kids who go away the first. This kid obviously, this is his first time out on his own, and it's a tragic situation. But I think that they should have learned by now, and I'm glad the university has reacted as quickly as it has. Never been a member of a sorority or fraternity. And so I really can't speak to what the issues are and what propels these people. But I think it's kind of a group psychology that gets going, and, you're going to be initiated and, what is it, Lord of the Flies kind of thing, right? So I don't know.
Stafford.
College is supposed to be a place where, kids are getting out of their parents' house for the first time, and they're cutting loose a little bit more than they normally would. They're listening to ideas that they probably wouldn't have heard at their home. And hazing's real. Hazing happens in sports. Hazing happens in some Greek life. So I think it's an absolute travesty what happened to this kid, and I don't know what the answer is. Is the answer talking to kids more about alcohol in high school? I don't know. Right? We know that any kind of abstinence education usually backfires. Right? And is the answer guidance at the frat houses? I don't know. But I think that shutting down frat life or Greek life was the right thing to do. Because it's an opportunity for these kids to come back to center and say, hey, somebody died. Somebody died because,
and
I could be wrong. It just
happened at the University of Penn State. It just happened. So these kids had to be aware of it.
And that's where they're civilized.
I could be wrong about this, but my understanding is that the the young man asphyxiated because he was on his back, right? And one of the things that, as a father, right, don't leave your kid on their back in the bed, right? You turn them on their sides. And so, if somebody would have just checked on him, there's potential. And look, I would hate to be his fraternity brother, right? To know that somebody died under your watch because you were partying too hard from alcohol. Like this is heartbreaking.
Warren?
That I heard part of this on a radio program yesterday, and they were talking about these kids. They're immature and that they had no adult supervision and on and on and on. And I understand a little bit about what they were talking about, but also when you're 18 years old, you are an adult. You're old enough to drive fast cars. You're old enough to drink. You're old, well, not in all the places, but you're old enough to go in the military. You're old enough to make your own decisions, and God forbid, you're old enough to vote. And so you're going to turn around then and say, but you're not old enough to do other things, to act rational. And I think that somewhere along the way, the fraternities have got to sit there and police themselves. And I understand all about hazing and all of that stuff and initiations and all, and some of that stuff goes too far. But on and on, you are responsible for your own damn behavior. And your own behavior means, are you the one who's sitting there pouring alcohol down somebody while some other people hold them down or whatever? And if you are, and those things happen, then those people who are responsible for doing that should be held accountable. I mean, that comes under nothing but, hell, that's against the law, I think, and everywhere.
Don't you think that's part of the problem is that, this silence that ends up happening and then there's not enough done individually to the people?
And I absolutely agree.
If you were to do that, like, let's say you did that to your neighbor next door, you'd go to jail for years.
Well, and I'm going to be the one that brings it up. You look at a lot of these situations, they are either children of boosters or they are legacy fraternity and fraternity members. Yeah. Sometimes they have a family name that's recognizable. I think it's just like with, we've seen it happen outside of even sororities. There
was a German social scientist called Elizabeth Noel Newman, and a caller several weeks ago reminded me of this, and she calls it the spiral of silence. And it's just that people do not want to be outside the in-group. And so if they're doing something wrong or bullying or whatever, now she used it as in a larger context with Nazi Germany, but in a more focused context, milder, you might say, context, she related it to how, people want to be on the in crowd. They don't want to be left out. They don't want to be in the spiral outside this, the spiral. They want to be in the spiral. And so they do things that they might not normally do. And there's this groupthink that takes over, and they're young. They are kids. They are young. Let me put it that way. They are young.
Does the group Skull and Bones come to mind? But I want to say this. Carol said that one of the things that happened when somebody died was at Penn State University, and I think she used the term, but that was a civilized school. Mm-hmm. But thank God it wasn't the University of Pennsylvania, because then the whole media would have been screaming and hollering that Trump's alma mater killed somebody in a hazing incident. But anyway.
See, and people say, because it's named the University of Pennsylvania, they think it's a state school. It is not. It's a private school.
And it is an Ivy League school.
And it is an Ivy League school, and the Wharton School of Business, where Trump went.
Yeah, and his daughter.
Yeah, it's known worldwide.
We're going to move on to veterans. We said we would talk about it last week and the VA. We've saved the time at the end of the show here to get to that next. Stay with us. It's Wingin' It Wednesday on NewsTalk 96.5 KPEL.
Getting a great night's sleep is important, whether you're working in the early morning or you're doing the 8 to 5 thing. This is Bernadette Lee. Look, you need to get yourself a Sleep Number bed. Like my Sleep Number setting right now is 25, right? Brett's is 50. He wants a firmer mattress, but I don't. Well, look, they've got all this technology at the Sleep Number bed. Let it work for you. Like the new Sleep Number 360 smart bed. This thing automatically adjusts to you while you're sleeping, right? It's incredible. And it can gently warm your feet. No, I'm not kidding. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed can pre-warm each side of the bed, so it's right for you and your hubby. Find out more about this bed. Find out about the great sale, the lowest prices of the season. You can save $500 to $700 on their most popular 2016 beds. Go to the Sleep Number store today, the corner of Settlers Trace and Ambassador Caffrey. Tell them Bernadette Lee sent you.
Hi, I'm Ronnie Petrie, Western Division Manager for St. Martin Bank. Growing up in Jeb Davis Parish and being involved in the business community is something I'm very proud of. Working for a bank like St. Martin Bank that cares about its people and wants to grow with our communities gives me another sense of pride. Home mortgages, commercial banking, whatever your needs are, we want your business. Give us a call and let us show you how. St. Martin Bank truly is banking made simple.
St. Martin Bank. Banking made simple.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Rose. Hi. She owns a bakery. A different kind of bakery. A gourmet patisserie. So she needed a different kind of communications provider. Cox Business is different. They got to know me. Now Rose has enough internet speed to keep up with sales. Plus advanced phone features that can keep up with me. It's just another way we do business. Differently.
Bundle 25 megs internet and voice with unlimited nationwide long distance for only $79.99 per month for 3 months with a 3-year agreement. Ends 12/31/17. Restrictions apply. Visit coxbusiness.com for details.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising. Attention! This is an important message for anyone that has taken the prescription medication Invokana, Invocomed, or Invocomed XR for their diabetes. In May 2017, based on the facts of 2 clinical trials, the FDA issued a health advisory warning that these diabetes medications increase the risk of amputation of the legs and toes. If you or your loved one have taken the prescription medication Invokana, Invocomed, or Invocomed XR for your diabetes, you must call us now at 800-296-0781. You may be entitled to significant compensation. Even if you have not experienced an injury now, our network of experienced attorneys are ready to fight for you. Best of all, you'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. You must protect your legal rights. Call 800-296-0781 now to see if you may be eligible to file a claim. Time restrictions may apply, so you must call now. 800-296-0781. Again, 800-296-0781. That's 800-296-0781.
All the action, every week. Brought to you by Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Wingin' It Wednesday continues next.
If you think national out-of-town companies understand your local IRS problems stemming from our recent floods and oil and gas setbacks, think again. This is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm in Lafayette. We've handled thousands of IRS cases related to Louisiana's up-and-down economy, and for years we've negotiated with the local IRS collection officers, helping our clients end their tax issues. So before you hire anyone to handle your IRS issue, come talk to the local tax attorneys at Bryson Law Firm. At no charge, we'll meet with you in person and examine your situation. Then we'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it'll cost. Again, we're local tax attorneys and we specialize in handling tax problems for Louisiana residents. We have a AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau. So before you send money to some out-of-town high-pressure salesperson, call the Bryson Law Firm in Lafayette or go to brysonlawfirm.com. Remember, if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. You need an attorney who specializes in tax law. You need us, the Bryson Law Firm.
To relieve muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. The fast-acting foam can even prevent muscle cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today at TheraWorksRelief.com.
And now, your forecast from the KATC TV3 Weather Lab.
It seems like so long ago that Acadiana got a little taste of fall and then quickly went back into a summer-like pattern, and that pattern continues through the rest of the work week. Certainly going to be seeing it today. High up to around 92 later on this afternoon, and winds from the south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour going to continue to bring more moisture into the atmosphere, so expect it to be very muggy once again today, and a few isolated and scattered showers could result from some of that moisture, so a 30% chance for a brief shower or thunderstorm. Your low tonight going to be getting down into the low to mid-70s with the capability of some patchy fog through early morning. As for the rest of the work week, does look like we are going to be dealing with this type pattern. Summer's going to continue through the weekend and the majority of next week as well. Maybe seeing the indications that late next week we could get a slight cool front. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on NewsTalk 96.5 KPEL.
Right now, sunshine, 76 degrees here at KPEL. American Red Cross still looking for volunteers for all kinds of jobs, administrative support, shelter management, supply distribution. If you're interested in volunteering, you can register at redcross.org/volunteer.
It's Wingin' It Wednesday, driven by Service Chevrolet Cadillac.
.43, it's a topic that has been brought up numerous times on the show, and we said a couple weeks ago we would make some time to talk about veterans and veterans care. One of the times it came up was we were talking about something, and a caller called in. I believe we were talking about DACA. And then someone called in and said, well, yeah, it's all well and good to take care of these people, but we also need to think about our veterans. And no one disagreed with that. So let's take a stab at it. With 11 minutes to go in Wingin' It Wednesday, Stafford, kick this one off. What do we need to fix to help the veterans in this country?
Single payer. So why do we have a veterans clinic in Lafayette and a hospital in Alexandria when there's 5 hospitals, or maybe even more, in Lafayette that these guys should be able to go to, right? So instead we have massive lines at the VA when these guys should be able to just go right down the road, right? So we've got a little clinic. They can go get minor procedures done, but if they have anything major, they got to go to Alexandria, right? Or I think the other one was New Orleans. So either way, you're traveling. And some of these guys don't travel very well. What's the point, right? So, in fact, I know people who've had to move to Alexandria to be closer to the VA. Why do we have 2 healthcare systems? Why can't these guys walk into a hospital just like anybody else and be covered, right? So maybe it's not, hey, look, I think it should be single payer, but let these guys go to private hospitals and make the government pay for that. These guys sacrifice a lot for their country. I was on the board for a group called Hero Hunts, right? We take veterans of any war, hunting, and fishing. We go to the nursing home once a year, maybe twice a year, and pick up all the World War II vets, bring them to a pond here in Lafayette. We cook for them. We take them fishing. And it's great to see these guys hang out with each other. And they get to bond in ways that they haven't got to bond in a long, long time. And to think that they potentially don't have access through the VA to something here locally boggles my mind, right? So my solution, go to single payer, let these guys go to whatever hospital they want, and just take care of them medically, period.
Warren?
I agree with a lot of that. I also think that the VA hospital system came in to serve a very good need. And but I'm going to go back and say what Alan Simpson, former senator from Wyoming, whom I think was one of the most level-headed senators that ever served there, said one time is that he thought that anybody who was in the military who served in a war zone in any capacity should be covered with health care for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm on single-payer health care called Medicare, and I'm also in the VA system. And, you know, that I agree with that. And I think that it should be. You just get a card kind of like Medicare or whatever, and you go there and you get the services. But there's been a lot of ups and downs with the VA system, of the quality of care you get there, as good as it is on the outside. I've been well pleased with the care that I have received there, really have, with the doctors and right on through that, just as well as anywhere else. But I also think that it would be a lot less costly if we would just go to some kind of a deal that says you don't have to wait in line there, you don't have to do these things. You can go wherever you want to and be covered.
Well, Carol.
Over and over again, this has been a topic of conversation. There was just a year or two ago the Reform Act, the Veterans Reform Act, which is, you know, allowing veterans to have more. Actually, there was one in 1996. There was a Reform Act, and the latest Reform Act. I read some things online about pushback from veterans who felt betrayed that they could about the voucher system. Why? Because back in 96, they did the same thing, and it opened it up. Rather than having to go to a hospital, you could go to a healthcare clinic, an outpatient clinic, and it changed it to that. It allowed more of that, but the veterans felt that they still were not getting the kind of care that they should have. So this is a thorny problem that's gone back, you know, at least to 96. Now, the most recent one was to allow Shulkin, who is now the head of the VA, to be able to fire some of these slackers. I mean, sitting around watching porn on their computers. You know, he was, and they made them rehire these people. You know, there was so much abuse of the system, and when he tried to get in there and fire some of these people, The court told them, no, you can't fire them because of some arcane civil service law or whatever. And so it delayed the reforms that they're trying to put in right now. This was one of the things that Trump wanted to talk about, did talk about many times, about reforming the VA system. But when they try to go to a voucher, they have experience with vouchers before, and there was pushback from the veterans who felt they had been betrayed again.
I wonder about the term single payer, because as soon as Stafford has said it twice in this show, I think the
phone line.
Is it one of those things? Well, no, I'm talking about you and Warren as well. Me too, to an extent. Just because I think the words single payer carry a certain something
because
with it. What aspect of it would work? Let's talk about this in this situation.
Let's talk about this. More government control. And we've seen that with the VA system. How about Native American health care? Check that out. If you want to see what single payer is like on a broader scale, which will be even worse, you check out the Native American health care, and it is terrible. It's all government run. How
about the federal highway system?
I'm not a big fan of government.
How about the United States military?
They're not keeping up with the federal payers. Military is the one area that they haven't messed with too much yet. That's the one area that still functions pretty good. But the highway system, education, healthcare, you have ample example of the federal government falling down on the job.
I think you've got a bad example
Giving them
of what
more
you're stating
power.
right there.
I have many examples
of how our economy
one
grew.
right after another.
The single payer system.
Our economy grew because of a booming economy in the private sector, funded by individuals and businesses,
supported by infrastructure,
paid for by the taxpayers.
Right,
where do you think government gets its money?
Payer.
But we don't want the government to manage because they haven't shown us that they can manage anything very well.
That's what people who go on the radio and speak in platitudes say.
I don't speak in platitudes. I have adequate examples of government mismanaging our money right here in Louisiana. Extrapolate that for the United States of America, and you have waste, fraud, and abuse right across the board.
Warren?
Okay, has anybody ever had a health care that is paid for by the government?
Yeah.
You do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just said you liked it, right?
Yeah, but look, I'm going to go back. I agree.
But that's not your only health care.
I agree with, huh?
Before you had Medicare, what was your health care?
None.
You paid for it yourself,
no,
right?
Couldn't afford it. Because they told me that I was uninsurable.
How long ago was that?
Well, that was sometime when I was about 10 years ago or so.
So we had problems before Obamacare.
Oh, we've had problems.
Yeah, we've had problems. But look, I'm going to say this. Look, I'm going to quote a friend of mine.
With that.
One of the most brilliant people I ever met, who was a surgeon, and he was a hospital administrator. His name was Dr. George Robert Smith. Mm-hmm. And he said there was no money in medicine before Medicare. And he said doctors did okay, but he said, but there was really no real money in medicine.
Once they know somebody's going to foot the bill, suddenly everything is wrong.
When Medicare came along, and all at once, all of these companies who make the diagnostic equipment and all that stuff that we rely on today, the MRIs and all of that stuff, he said they knew that there would be people that would need the service, and they would buy it, and they literally poured billions of dollars into R&D, and they're getting paid back. He said, you really have got to say a lot of the progress we made in medicine is a result of the money that was poured into Medicare.
Mexico,
Let me say one
single
thing.
payer.
Let me say one thing. Early on in the debate of Obamacare, a major health care provider came to our Rotary Club and talked about how this could be really good. And I looked at the person next to me. I said, the fix is in. And sure enough, they knew that the insurance companies thought they were going to be subsidized. What's happening now? They're not being subsidized to the degree they thought they were. They're not getting all the patients they thought they were. In fact, they're not getting the healthy patients that they thought they were going to fund the sick patients, right? The really sick people.
Yeah,
and now they're pulling out. And now they're pulling out, one right after the other.
I'm glad you brought that up. So I sent an article last night to Rob about a scientific research journal called, I think it's Poli-Sci Research.
We talked about that a little bit earlier on today.
Right.
Political science.
We have about 2 minutes, by the way. Just
that identified people who are more likely to believe in conspiracies, right? And what they find is that people who lose elections,
here we go.
People who lose elections,
views on healthcare are a conspiracy.
Yeah, but when the first thing that you say is the fix is in, and that's your default instead of trying to understand what's going on.
People are motivated
we do understand
by money.
What's going on. That's why we say the fix is in.
People are motivated by money. So look at how the whole system works, as opposed to just assuming that there's evil thoughts there. Look,
she's not basing
I
it on
didn't
evil
assume, I
thoughts.
didn't assume anything.
She's basing it on lots of
fact.
Wow.
Years of fact.
All right.
I don't think that anybody has evil intentions with healthcare.
Whoa.
I don't. I don't believe that there's death panels. I don't believe any of that stuff.
No, I don't think people think they are evil, but they do evil things and rationalize.
Have you ever been on government care ever in your whole life?
I have not.
Then you might want to go and ask somebody who has.
I mean, I'm.
Okay, can we end on
I
a
guess
good
I
note?
lived a privileged life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, Stafford, you have.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and
let me
these are
ask the
things that
gentleman
I
this
think about
question.
a
If
lot.
he thinks nobody in healthcare is evil, why do we have so many doctors that are in prison now because they sat there
Why,
and
why did
they
Obama
scam-
come in
they
and want
scammed
to change everything if they
everything
weren't
that
evil?
They could.
There have been situations where
Would you
doctors
call-
have done evil
would
things.
You, okay, all right, but you just
Yes.
got through saying there was nobody had
I
evil.
believe that the Obamacare decision was a fix to a problem that existed.
No.
Okay.
Well,
I believe that it was real.
Well,
and I believe that the Cassidy Graham Act is going to fail. It's going to fail in the Senate. It's going to fail in Congress.
Can it fail any more than what we have now?
Look, when you keep stripping funding from it, as the Republicans have done, it's going to fail, right? But the problem is we've got
They're not
multiple
supposed to be
organizations who are
subsidizing.
looking at it now who said that economically it's working. And if you want to try to push this through before the we can grade it, right? Just keep doing that. You complain when Obama did it, and you're going to do it now.
We got to wrap it up right there.
And we're
Wingin'
paying
It
the price.
Wednesday,
I
each and
I
every
wanna
Friday
say
night.
Something positive.
Go quickly.
Thank you, Clay Higgins. He got almost $2.9 million for area airports and over $2 million for the Lafayette Regional Airport.
7:55 now at NewsTalk 96.5. KPEL will do it again next week on Wingin' It Wednesday. Have a good day.
Acadiana's talk station. News Talk 96.5. KPEL.
Foundation failure, a homeowner's worst nightmare. Bricks crack, doors stick, sheetrock breaks. The symptoms are clear and should not be ignored. Relax. It might not be as bad as it seems. Let the professionals at National Foundation Repair help you by diagnosing your problem and engineering a solution so you can rest easy once again. National Foundation Repair. We know foundation failure, so you don't have to.
In Lafayette, call 233-3258.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Louisiana is more than just a place to visit. It's our way of life, and that means being outdoors. Join the nearly 2 million people who camped, biked, paddled, and hiked our state parks last year as we invite you to do the same. Every corner of Louisiana has something to offer, from the world-class fishing at Toledo Bend to paddling at Fontainebleau to exploring the ancient mounds at Poverty Point World Heritage Site. So fill up your car and staycation right here in our home, Louisiana.
He cares, he listens, Linwood is here to guide you. There's confidence when it's Lynn who stands beside you.
There's more to growing beautiful flowers than just dropping seeds on the ground. Hi, this is Lynn Wood. If you expect your retirement investments to flourish, you need someone to take care of your garden. Some advisors promise you a rose garden, then forget you. We believe it's what you do after planting that matters most. Together, we'll nurture your investments and help you create a rosy retirement. Linwood & Associates on Camellia at River Ranch.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Voya Financial Advisors, a registered broker-dealer member SIPC. Linwood & Associates is not a subsidiary of nor controlled by Voya Financial Advisors.
Let's get together and pursue your dreams. Linwood and Associates.
Under the Bull and Bear in River Ranch.
Here's a tip from Glenn Latchley with Eagle Pest Control.
With all the rain we have had in the past few months, mosquitoes are really bad right now. Standing water and warm temps keep those pesky guests around, interrupting our outdoor activities. But there are ways to help keep them away. Check outdoor toys, lawn furniture, and containers for stagnant water. You can also treat your yard for mosquitoes with the help of a professional pest control company.
Get the relief you need from mosquitoes by calling Eagle Pest Control and Chemical. They will spray your yard, fog, and place a special granule that has a 6-month residual. Not only will you see less mosquitoes, but also less insects. With so many pest control companies and do-it-yourself options out there, you need to be sure they are a trusted and reputable company. Save time and money by calling the professionals at Eagle Pest Control. Whether it's commercial or residential, Eagle Pest Control can help you with pest control, termite treatments, rodents, and mosquitoes. Call 898-1936 now or visit EaglePestControlAndChemical.com for more information.
station. Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Stearns with news and commentary next.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
Joe Kennedy, a football coach in Bremerton, Washington, was punished for taking a knee at the 50-yard line for a post-game prayer. Coach Joe was ordered to stop. He was told he could no longer bow his head or take a knee or do anything that could be perceived as a prayer. When he refused, Coach Joe lost his job. First Liberty Institute took on Coach Joe's case, arguing the coach has a constitutional right to pray. But a federal appeals court says otherwise. The Ninth Circuit Court in California says football coaches are not permitted under the Constitution to engage in public prayer. Catholic coaches are not even allowed to cross themselves. Welcome to the America that was fundamentally transformed by President Obama and his activist judges. It's a nation where football players can take a knee to disrespect the flag, but a coach can't take a knee to pray to the Almighty. I'm Todd Stearns.
They're in the eye of the storm. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Maria's pounding Puerto Rico, a Category 4 hurricane.
We've been seeing some strong winds well over 100 miles for about 2 hours here.
Fox's Steve Harrigan barely able to stand outside in San Juan.
This is a direct hit, so what it's going to do to power, what it's going to do to water, right now it's causing destruction. It's tearing buildings apart. But the aftermath with 10 to 15 inches of rain, a 10-foot storm surge, and possible mudslides, especially in the interior of the country, that could be the real danger.
Maria also hammered the Irma-damaged Virgin Islands overnight. The search for victims in earthquake rubble continues in and around Mexico City. Homes and buildings and schools collapsed. At least 217 people are dead. Hillary Clinton did not like what President Trump told the UN yesterday, telling the CBS Late Show,
I thought it was very dark, dangerous.
The president has reacted on Twitter, of course. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
A day after threatening North Korea with annihilation, the president criticized Hillary Clinton on Twitter, writing, after allowing North Korea to research and build nukes while Secretary of State Bill Clinton also, crooked Hillary now criticizes. The president followed that up with another tweet, writing, it's the height of hypocrisy. Obama and Clinton, in effect, gave nuclear weapons to North Korea by their policy of appeasement. The president today meets at the UN with his counterparts from Jordan, Egypt, Great Britain, and the Palestinian Authority. Dave?
John, the president also tweeted the latest Senate bill to replace Obamacare is great, but Republican Senator Rand Paul's a no vote.
I can't vote for something that's not really repealed.
The president calls Paul a negative force in fixing health care. Jimmy Kimmel isn't joking around, critical of his senator sponsoring the health care bill.
And this guy, Bill Cassidy, just lied right to my face.
Kimmel on his ABC show says the bill would raise premiums, something he says Cassidy told him wouldn't happen. Kimmel got involved in the debate after his son needed heart surgery right after he was born. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.67%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to quickenloans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Will more Confederate monuments be taken down? Should they be? That's still a big discussion after the deadly violence in Virginia. Big topic last night in the governor's race debate there.
Virginia, a place steeped in Civil War history, is part of the ongoing nationwide discussion over what to do with Confederate statues and memorials. At a gubernatorial debate televised by NBC, Republican candidate Ed Gillespie said he favors keeping monuments in place.
We don't have to glorify the objects of the statues. We can educate about them.
Democratic Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam disagreed.
I would think that the statues would be better placed in museums with certainly historical context.
Confederate statues and memorials have been a hot topic since last month's violence at a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
2 more deadly shootings involving law enforcement. Last night in Monroe, North Carolina, sheriff's deputies spotted a car with a taillight out. They gave chase. The man then got out of the car and ran into a store. When he came out, he refused to drop it and was shot and later died at a hospital. In Oklahoma City last night, police responding to a hit-and-run crash found a guy holding a stick. It escalated and officers shot and killed him. If they're telling the truth, teenagers may be behaving more these days.
Fewer teens today are drinking, dating, having sex, or taking part in other activities many see as milestones on the path to adulthood. This according to a study published in the journal Child Development, which found the teens voluntarily delaying not only risky behavior, but other steps toward independence, such as getting a driver's license or an after-school job. Those percentages plunging since 1976, with the steepest drops in the past decade. In 1991, for instance, 54% of high schoolers reported having had sex at least once, while in 2015, that number was down to 41%.
That's Lillian Wu, and on Wall Street, stock futures are flat before the opening bell later this hour. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Glaciers, whale watching, and unforgettable views on the KPEL News Cruise, exclusively on NewsTalk 96.5, KPEL, Pearl Bridge, Lafayette. Covering Acadiana, live and local, this is KPEL News at 8.
Right now, 76 degrees.